Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom with Jim. I'm excited to be with you, and I hope that you will let me know if you are here. Go in the chat and just leave me a comment. Also, if you're watching this via replay, if you could put in the comments pound replay, that would be fantastic. That way I'll know that uh, you were either on the live or on the replay. But I'm excited about today. I have a great message, at least I think it's a great message, about a topic that I put a post out the other day on Instagram and Facebook that I felt like was one that I would generate some conversation with, but it didn't get as much feedback as I thought it would. But it is one of those topics that really is one of great interest to me because it's something that changed the trajectory of my life way back in my early journey in leadership. And I'm going to share that story with you. But, you know, the post that I put up said that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison. And I don't know, maybe you do, or maybe you don't, but I know I am guilty of comparing myself to others, to the things that other people do and the things that other people experience and the successes of other people. And I know that I can quickly find myself thinking less of myself because of something somebody else is doing, when I really need to be focusing on what I'm doing. So some years ago, in my early stages of leadership development, I had the opportunity to attend a military leadership academy in Knoxville, Tennessee with the Air National Guard. And one of our instructors there was attending the University of Tennessee, working on his PhD in education. And he invited a select group of us, about 20% of the class, to come and be interviewed by him to talk through some questions that he was using in a survey for his thesis and in his dissertation. So the question that he asked me were all very simple, how long you been in the military, what have you gained from your experiences? And then he asked me a question that he didn't like my answer. His question was, Jim, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in your military journey? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years on your military journey? And it was at that point in time when I said, well, I think I've probably reached as high as I can reach, because my dad was a very successful member of the South Carolina Air National Guard, and he reached the highest level that one could reach on the enlisted side. He was the chief of personnel and later was the first senior enlisted advisor for the Air National Guard in South Carolina. And I said, I just don't believe I can ever reach that level. And no sooner did I get those words out of my mouth that he slammed his hand down on the desk and he said, you're absolutely right. You can never get to that level, but you can go higher than that. He said, but you've got to quit comparing yourself to your father's journey, and you got to focus on your own journey. Well, that day was a shift in the trajectory of my entire life. And I've had a lot of those points in my journey where I have had a shift in the trajectory. And in this case, I had to stop comparing myself to others and the success of others. I had to focus on me and growing myself and becoming my best version. In 2014, I retired from a very, very good job as an HR director for a state agency. And it was at that time when I stepped out on my own to become a coach, trainer, and speaker. And I joined the John Maxwell team. And in John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws, he talks about the comparison gap, that when we compare ourselves to others, we are stealing our joy. We are taking away from ourselves the opportunity and the potential to become our best version. Because when we compare ourselves to others, we build barriers in our own pathway. We put things up that say, well, I can never do that. I can never be that good. I can't reach that level of success. But we need to stop the comparison and start thinking about, okay, what can I do? No, I can't be that person. That person is somebody else. It's not me. And of course, I can't be that person. But here's what I do know is if that person is ahead of me, is better than me, I can learn from them and I can use that as an opportunity for growth. But I can't compare myself and expect to be that person. I have to be who I am, who I become by investing in me. So as we think about our journey and we think about who we are and where we want to go, we don't need to compare ourselves to others. We need to think about, where do I want to go? What steps do I need to take to get me to the level of that person, or really the level of my own thoughts? Where do I want to go? Where have I clearly defined where I want to be? And then identify the steps that you need to take to get there. So as we think about the comparison gap, as we think about comparing ourselves to others and other things that are unrealistic, what are the things that we can do to get us there? So the first thing we need to do, we have to tell ourselves the truth. Okay, here's what I really need to tell myself. I can't be John Maxwell. I can't be Tony Robbins. I can't be Jim Rohn, but I can be Jim Hatchell. And I can be my very best version. But it's going to take effort for me to do that. It's going to require me to take the time to do the studies, to dive into the books like the Leadership Goal by John Maxwell, and dive into the messages that he teaches, to dive into other messages that are taught from other thought leaders and use that information to grow myself. I have to be realistic about where I want to go, and I have to be realistic about how I'm going to get there. And I only want to do one thing. I want to become my best version. I want to become the best that I can be. And you know what? That's what God wants from us. He wants us to be our very best. We don't have to be the greatest, but we have to be our best. And so as we think about that, as you think about comparing, who are you comparing yourself to today that is unrealistic? Who is it? What is it? I know I have to deal with it all the time because I'm dealing in a community of people who are extremely successful in the speaking and coaching and training arena. And they're making $600,000 a year or or more. But I have to think about, what kind of effort are they putting forth, and what kind of effort am I willing to put forth to do that? I have to put it all into perspective, where I am in my journey and what I want to do and where I want to go. Clearly identify your goal, the place that you want to be. Clearly identify the steps that you have to take to get there. Clearly identify who your mentors and coaches that you want to help you in that journey. And quit comparing yourself to the unrealistic steps or places that are out there that you know you can't reach today, but you may be able to reach them if you put forth the effort to get there. I know that I speak to people all the time, And they say, Jim, I want to be like you, but I know I can never be like you. Well, heck, yes, you can be like me. All you have to do is take the steps to get there. But don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to Jim Rome. Don't compare yourself to John Maxwell. Don't compare yourself to those people who are out there with not 10,000 hours, but 20 and 30,000 hours that they've invested to get to where they are. So ask yourself, okay, where am I on this journey? What is it I really need to do to take me to the next level, to get me to the place that I want to be? And break it down into small steps so that you can get there. Don't try to eat the elephant all at one time. Take it one bite at a time and work your way to the level of success that you want and that I know you can accomplish. But stop comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy and a roadblock to your success. Be you. Be the person that God created you to be, and be your best version every day. And my favorite saying from John Maxwell is this: it's not what you do in a day, it's what you do daily. So what are those daily activities that you are putting in place to take you to that next level? Hey, I hope my message today added some value to you. I know every time I think about comparison, I realize that I need to stop doing it, and I have to remember that I am Jim Hatchell. I'm uniquely made, and it's me that I need to most be concerned about, not somebody else. Am I doing what I need to do? Good luck. I look forward to seeing you again next week, and I hope you have a blessed day. This is Jim signing off.